Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, we so serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
All right, everybody, we are getting ready for another interesting show on today. We're so glad that you are tuned into We Got Issues. Oh my goodness, we're going to be talking about Pride Month on today. So we absolutely want to hear from you, want your comments and what you think about it. And we'll be right back to you right after the break.
It's going down, you guys. Wow. It is Monday. It is Monday. And we're so excited for the beginning of the week. We're just thrilled to be with you today. And we're so excited to be here. We Got Issues, 9:10 a.m., the Superstation, WFDF, out of Detroit, Michigan, but serving the world, serving us on an international stage, and we're so excited. Love you guys on Facebook, hitting us up, hitting in the chat. We're so thrilled that you've joined us today. And for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, let me tell you who we are. We are the Force of Friendship, where we totally believe there's something really powerful in having girlfriends, different kind of girlfriends, all kind of girlfriends. We welcome you into our tribe for real. Because why? Because we got issues, man. The name of our show is We Got Issues because we got issues. You got issues. We got issues. You guys, listen. You might be watching us or hearing us on the app. We love the fact that you lean in. We are super excited about all the energy that we're receiving from you, the love that we're receiving from you as the world is opening up. What an amazing weekend we've had. Just ups and downs. We're still looking for so many people in Florida. And it is such a challenging, sad time to continue to get updates and not finding what they're looking for, and the danger that those people are putting themselves under in order to find some people and help them and bring them up. Hope's still going up, always hope. So that's a challenging time. And then we go on to the Olympics, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, and the BET Awards, and we talk a little bit about that, and basketball, we can talk a little bit about that. But today's show, you guys, we're doing Pride. Pride Month is being celebrated in June. And so we're going to talk about Pride Month, and we're going to ask you guys to call in and join the conversation at 313-778-7600. But we're very excited to talk about all things as it tends to Pride, what goes into it, how it came about, all that information. We have some guests with us. But before we meet the guests, let me go to my co-host in the Big D, coming from the Big D, Detroit, Michigan. Chris, with your blue jean jacket, love it. And yet, of course, another necklace. Okay. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. As Sabrina says, it's always Monday, but we're excited to be here on a beautiful Monday. When I tell you, had a great weekend, a really, really wonderful weekend, as you said, Gloria, as the world, as the country starts to open up, you feel a little freer to do some things. You guys, this Sunday, oh my goodness, we had such a great event at the church. We partnered with the DSO, which is the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, and they came. Oh, nice. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Before COVID, they would come to the church with with part of their orchestra and invite all of the inner city children to come and to listen and to see all of these magnificent musicians. And they get, just to get inspired because, you think about it, the inner city youth probably have never had an opportunity to step into the Detroit Orchestra Symphony and watch these musicians and their craft and just all of the different instruments. So that's always has been a highlight. But on yesterday, they streamed it live on a big screen right there in our parking lot. And you guys, when I tell you, they had as their special guest Renee Ellis Goldsberry. She is the Tony and Grammy award-winning star of Hamilton. Yes. Yes. And when I tell you,
favorite,
she opened her mouth. Yes, she is. And I'm going to tell you, she is a native of Detroit, right? She is
from
Detroit. Yes.
No.
From Detroit. Girl, she told this story, you guys, and I thought this was so awesome. She's from Detroit, graduated. I said, not only is she talented, not only is she beautiful, but she graduated from Cranbrook. Okay, so if anybody knows anything about Cranbrook, that is the creme de la creme of high schools here in the Detroit metropolitan area. But she told it was such a cute story. She said how, she got the role of in Hamilton and how her dad actually lived on the same street that Aretha Franklin lived on, right? And she talked about, yes, exactly. And she talked about how Aretha called her father up and said, hey, I heard Renee, your daughter is in Hamilton. How can I get some tickets? And they were like, she said, this is Aretha Franklin. And she was like, you don't even need to say your last name. But anyway, she talked about how she never got a chance to come to the show. But she said, I just had to share that in Detroit because Aretha Franklin dropped my name. I said, you know what? Like that, drop your name. Absolutely.
Yes.
That you'll always remember. So it has been such a great weekend here in the D. And so I'm excited to lean into this conversation on today. And so I'm going to throw it, I think, all the way to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I think that's where it's located. To my girl, Sabrina Goodwin Monday. What's up, Bree?
Good to see you, ladies. Good to see you, girlfriends. Oh, my goodness, it's another Monday. And this is Sabrina Goodwin Monday, where every day is Monday with your Monday motivation. Good to see you guys. I love that we are talking pride today, and we have a special guest. So much to lean in, understand. We want understanding. They want to be better understood. We know, to win is to love. To love is to win. And so I am so glad that we're having this conversation. What a weekend. Record heat on the West Coast. Oh my goodness. Record heat on the West Coast, you guys. The track Olympic finals had to be postponed last night because the track was so hot. It was like 150 degrees on the track.
What?
And so they had to delay the time. We loved
Sabrina,
watching.
What about the woman that was taken to the emergency room? Have you heard anything about her yet?
I have not. I have not. But to just be expected to perform in that kind of heat is tough. For your dreams to be on the line in that kind of heat. And we're excited about our USA Gymnastics team. We got our team last night. Yay.
Oh my goodness.
All of them are fabulous, but I'm really excited about Biles and Childs. Okay? Yes. So much, you guys. Prayers for sure going out to the families of the missing in Florida. Every day, every hour, it just gets more dismal because the longer the days grow long, the least likely we find survivors. So lots going on. Caterina Harris-Earl, there's our girl. What's going on, Caterina?
It's same. I mean, I walked into the first store without a mask on. My mom's like, I'm still keeping my mask on. And, I'm still being very cautious and keeping my mask on in a lot of situations. But the store was almost empty. Walked in to get a couple things from Home Goods. And it felt, for a moment, I forgot that just a few months ago, that was not an option. But it felt like, wow, like for real. So that was neat. Thank you in advance for continuing to pray for our family. I'm excited. Well, not excited. That's the wrong word. I am looking forward to a guest that I'm going to have on talking about gun violence, but I couldn't have him on because it hit so close to home. And, and the young man was caught, y'all. Just, and we don't know. It's so sad. So sad. So continue to pray. But in the Earl household, we're really excited. My grandkids Gloria, aren't your grandkids coming too? My grandkids
three of them rolled in. We got some more coming. It's gonna be a week of rolling. It's gonna be rolling up in here.
I'm like, OMG. So I'm trying to get this RV, and Anthony still is not feeling it. Y'all pray for him with this RV. I
cannot pray for him in an RV because I would not want to be in an RV sitting on some pillow for 12 days. Oh no.
Yeah, that's the way you say it until you see the kind of RV that I would get. Okay. You would be like, really? Okay. I ain't gonna have no little rinky-dink RV. If I had the one like my neighbor has that takes up the whole side of his house. But
where y'all going in an RV? Where y'all going in an RV?
Gloria, there's so many beautiful places to see. We got Yosemite would be one. That would be a beautiful place to go. There's just so many places. Anyways, I could go on and on and on. I'm gonna do a show. Who is an RV specialist? I need somebody to contact me so I could do a show. How about the girlfriends? We all go in an RV. Wouldn't that be fun?
No, that would be fun.
Right, I'll go with you, Kat. I'll go with you. I'll get in the RV with you. I'll go with you.
Oh, yeah. If Crisette, Gloria would fly in for a photo op and be out. Okay, I have to drop her off at the hotel.
Right. I'll act like I'm parking it. I'm from Detroit. I can park the RV.
The BET Awards. Performed from the sky. Okay. Silk Sonic at the club I was dancing like I was you, Sabrina. Cardi B coming out with the baby bump. Queen Latifah, when I tell you that doggone train on that gown, I know we're about to have our guest Keith come up here. And I know when you saw that train, you were like, OMG. So I was feeling it. It was a whole bunch of performers. I was like, I had to turn down the words because my mama was there, but and it was a whole lot of booty shaking. I'm like, oh Lord, everybody. When she gave the history of
I'm officially old. I am old. I am officially old. I was like, ooh, I can't.
It's not even the booty, Sabrina. It's not even the booty. It's the legs. Ain't it the legs? It's the legs. I'm like, I can almost take the booty.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just clarify everything here. Okay, nobody I know hang around with or talk to uses the word old. Old is not the word. Maybe mature or maybe tired of it, but we are not claiming it.
I like seasoned. How about
whatever?
Seasoned?
That's
what you said. That ain't a good word either, huh?
No, wait, Chris, how about the honeymooners came home?
Oh, yeah. You know what? They rolled up on Sunday. It was after service was over. And I looked up, I was like, that looks like Buddy's truck. And I looked and I screamed. I was like, oh my God. So they got oh my God. Angelica looked so cute. She did. She looked so good. They were smiling. I was like, what's that big smile? I mean, glowing and smiling and
your husband
and all of that
grandkids.
Okay. So that was really, really special to see them. Yeah. And then I was like, I said, buddy, you real grown because you taking a woman back to your house and I know about it. Okay.
And it ain't your house.
Okay, and it ain't my house. So that was so exciting to see him and Angelica come back. I mean, it's amazing how time just flies. We were just at the wedding, and now we're talking about they're back, right, from the honeymoon. So it was so good to see them on Sunday.
Right. You guys, this is so good. You guys, it's amazing. My nephew he just won the junior championship for tumbling and double trampoline, which is a really big deal. And next week, we're going to find out if he's going to the world championship. In some country, I can't even articulate, but it's next to Kazakhstan. But he's 15 years old. He'll be 16 next week. and he's got a growth spurt going on. And, you know, his mother is in the Hall of Fame for rhythmic gymnastics. So she just told me today that he is just a fierce competitor, that he's probably the most consistent one. He can nail it now. Because when you do tumbling, you know, you can fly to the left or fly to the right, but he's just so dang on consistent. And then that happened in St. Louis, and she was at the Olympic trials for the women gymnasts. Yes, we were looking in the audience for her. We were just looking for her in the audience, and she said it was just amazing. You know, she used to be president of the Women's Sports Foundation, so she knows all those people. She knows all the coaches. She knows all the parents. You know, she's all there. She had another child that was from the projects in Harlem, New York, whose mother almost didn't let him go because she said his grades weren't strong enough. And Wendy convinced the mother that this is the time you let him go, even though his grades, to give him a broader spectrum. He not only been on, this is the second time he's ever been on a plane, and he landed a junior championship. And I mean, so we got so much stuff going on. It's just super happy. And yeah, three of my grandkids are here today. Two more are coming in on Thursday, and then we're gonna have like 9 or 10 kids here for a while. It's gonna be amazing. I know, amazing. We were at Costco shopping, you guys. I know our viewers can relate. We were at Costco shopping, me and Ken. I think we were there for 85,000 hours. And we got $85,000 worth of groceries. I was like, really? They eat all of this? And they've been in that kitchen literally eating nonstop. You guys, we are so excited to have this conversation with you guys. We're talking about pride, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Pride Month. This is the month. And we're celebrating this month in June to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan. The Stonewall Uprising was a tipping point for the gay liberation movement in the United States. So we're excited to bring in our guests. We've got Keith Harley out of Dallas, Texas, one of my good friends. Hey, Keith. And we have Nazay Young. Hey, Nazay. We're so excited. Nazay was here with us last week. He was so open. We were so excited. We're just excited to have them both on this topic because this is such an interesting topic, and we're so excited. I told them both, we're going to have a good, juicy conversation. Might be some interrupting going on in here. We want the callers to call in. But what I said to them both, I said, you guys, okay, so first let me say this. I want all the followers, I want them both to say their social media, and I want you guys to follow our social media as well, and we'll tell you what that is. But you guys really, social media is important because you guys really want to see Caterina and Anthony Earl on this RV. If you don't get on our social media for no other reason to watch that, that's going to be the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen.
That'll even be more ridiculous.
However, our guests are fierce men. They really, truly are amazing men. We're so excited to have them. So I asked them both to tell about themselves. And you guys know when I have guests on, I say, I want you to introduce yourself. And I want you to brag about yourself and don't hold nothing back because I know your business and I'll tell your business if you don't tell everything you need to talk about. So we're going to have a hard break at 6:20. I already told them. So Keith, you're going to go first, introduce yourself, and then we'll pick it back up if we have to keep going. But I'm excited. Keith, thank you for coming on the show. Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you. I'm a retired, can you hear me okay? First of all,
yes.
Can you all hear me? Okay, good. I'm a retired hair and scalp specialist. I had a hair and scalp clinic in Washington, D.C., 2 of them actually. And I was in the hair business for 32 years, recently retired right before the pandemic, right as it started, and became a full-time lifestyle influencer. And that's what I do.
There he goes again, being Mr. Conservative. We're talking about.
You left a lot out, Keith.
I want to hear about the fact that you're my stylist. You're all of our stylists. You done dressed all of us one time or another. I want you to talk about the work that you've done at the White House. I want you to, because Nazaya and you have something in common in terms of the entertainment business. I want you to tell a little bit about your high school, and then we'll go and find a little bit more about your background. So go ahead, talk to them.
Okay, so I graduated from Duke Ellington, the School of Arts for vocal. Then I got into the entertainment industry as a celebrity hairstylist with which is a prime example. I was looking at BET last night. You know, I was a part of the first BET award show that they had 14 years ago at the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas. So I got a lot to talk about that just from last night, listening to you all talk about that experience recently. And then working with the Obamas, I did all the guests for the White House for 8 years. I worked with Michael Jackson. I worked with a lot of celebrities, international, and I know Caterina's going crazy. As a matter of fact, I started to send Caterina a video we found that a lot of people have not seen that Michael did right before he passed away. And, you know, so when you
She fainted. You always president of the fan club, okay?
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I've had a great experience. I've had a great life. I'm excited about the first part of my life, but I'm even more excited about the second part of my life.
Well, we're excited to hear more of it for sure. You guys, you're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation. We got issues. We're going to come back and meet Nazay Young, and we're so excited for this quick break because you got to take a breather as we get ready to talk to you about Pride Month. We're excited to be here, and you're with the Force of Friendship. See you in a minute.
Okay, you guys, we are on our break. We're on our break. And again, we are so excited that you all are tuned into We Got Issues. And of course, we are talking about everything Pride. And so, you know, a lot about Pride Week, and I'm actually leaning in to learn a lot about it because I don't know, you know, Gloria talked about when it was established and how it happened and so on and so forth. And I know that, you know, for many, this is probably somewhat of a controversial topic, depending on, you know, your opinion of,
hey, this is Keith Harley. For some reason, I got knocked off.
and all of that. And so today the focus is really on the Pride.
Okay.
And, you know, when you think about it, and we absolutely,
Thank you, sir.
for those of you that, you know, may have comments or, you know, you may have questions.
I'm great. Thank you so much. Let me know.
I know you guys know the number by heart, 313-778-7600.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
We absolutely want you to call in there. But you know what? If you think about it, so many of us, you know people, have relatives and friends, you know, that are homosexuals. And a lot of times what I have seen, which is, you know, really, really important, is that, you know, a lot of times they are discriminated against. You see a lot of different things in the media that talks about different things that they have to go through. And so whether you believe that it's wrong, I truly believe that, you know, God is love, and that, you know, everybody should be treated with respect. And so, you know, so many things that we have seen, you know, and you know what, it's so easy to hate. I mean, hate is of the enemy for sure. And so I am, you know, one of those individuals that believe that, you know, everybody should be given, you know, an equal opportunity when it comes to the workplace, the workforce. You know, you should not be discriminated because, of course, you guys know that we absolutely, you know, go up in arms when we are discriminated because of our color. And so, oh, yes. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I mean, when you listen to their backgrounds, I know I didn't even know all of that about Keith Harley myself. And of course, we've had an opportunity to hang around Keith.
Here we go. We're back. And we got issues. Yes. You know, he had to put the applause in there because we got our own jingle. We're so excited about having our own jingle. We don't even know what to do with ourselves. We're so excited to be back here with you guys. This is Pride Month, and Nazay Young has been with us. Nazay, the guests are just talking about you already in the chat because he was here last week and he was lighting up the fire last week. So we're so glad to have you back on yet a whole nother topic. He's a very fierce man and he's got a lot going on. So Nazay, introduce yourself and tell the callers who you are and everything as we talk about We Got Issues, 910 AM, the Superstation.
Well, let me first say thank you for having me back again. I definitely feel like can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
We gotta get it.
I think just unmute on the phone.
Oh, on the phone. Okay.
Can everybody hear me now?
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
we got you.
So
Thank you,
I
Michael.
apologize. Yeah, thank you for having me back. I definitely feel like a 2-time Emmy winner coming back. Back-to-back shows, so I'm gonna give myself a round of applause for that. We're going 3 times. Wow, I have not had the opportunity to meet the Obamas like Keith, so true kudos to you for that. That's like the ultimate and pillar of everything.
Right.
But I've had a very colorful career thus far as a teenager and moving into adulthood. I studied and finished at the Ellis School in New York and decided that I was going to, at the time, pursue a career in entertainment as a dancer and an actor. I always tell people I wanted to grow up and dance behind Luther Vandross or Diana Ross, if you remember Johnny Kim's video, the Just Got Paid. I wanted to be one of those dancers in the video, so I studied hard. And then by the time I graduated, nobody was doing that anymore. Everybody was in the early stages of twerking. So all those years of training went to waste. But so I had a great dance career, and then I spent some time as what they call affectionately in the LGBTQ community as a pageant consultant and a pageant competitor. There's a big scene. I know some of you maybe have heard of pageants before, or some of you have heard of balls before. And there's that great show that comes on HBO Max now called Legendary, where they advertise just a portion, give you some exposure to a portion of the community. But it's so much bigger and so much broader than that. So I spent years doing a little bit of what Keith did as a celebrity impersonator. And so Michael Jackson and Luther Vandross and John Legend and MC Hammer were a few of the people that I regularly impersonated and worked in Vegas and worked.
I want
in
those
Atlanta.
videos, Nizay. We want those videos. We want those videos.
You want those videos? So I had a great time with that, and I've always kept jumping in and out of the world. I decided that I was going to do some writing. Been a great writer for most of my life, and so my writing then led me to work with Lee Daniels most recently in the last couple of years. So I've had an opportunity to do some growing and mentorship under Lee Daniels. So I'm always trailblazing. I'm always trying to present myself as a representative of the community, and sometimes I don't see other people that look like me, but that's okay. Or at least they're the people that are doing the things that I'm doing as a father, soon to be married. So for those of you who are trying to get at my IG, it is London versus Zay, but do not jump in my DMs because he will not have it. Okay? Just going to say that. Send me a friendly message. Don't send me anything other than a friendly message. So that's just a little bit.
You guys, when I tell you these are some energetic men and they're in the force of friendship, talk about our tribe is growing. And when we get together to do something crazy, it's so exciting to have this kind of energy and this kind of excellence. So I'm welcoming you guys to the call. You guys, we're starting out with, Carl Nesbitt. Carl Nesbitt's a football player who just came out last week as a gay football player and has changed the world. And so many things are changing the world. We want to talk a little bit about that. But let me give you a couple of statistics about this. Today's celebration, including pride parades, picnics, parties, workshops, symposiums, concerts, the LGBTQ Pride Month attracts millions of participants around the world. Memorials are being held this month for those members of the community who we've lost to hate crimes or to HIV/AIDS. The purpose of the commemorative month is to recognize the impact that lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender individuals have had on history, locally, nationally, and internationally. You guys, I wanted to tell you about this stat that I looked up. Hold on one second, that I thought was so big. Because if you've watched carefully, you've seen how they've been embraced by brands. Now, have you guys noticed that when this particular month, more than any, you see a lot of pride rainbows on a lot of the brands that are coming out? Because we talk about this a lot on the show. How much is driven by the heart? How much is driven by the economy? Total buying power of adult U.S. lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer population is projected to be $917 billion.
Wow.
You know, it is,
Wow.
yes. And let me say this to you. They said that so many people in their community and those who support their community will buy so much more when they know that you are friendly to the community. I thought that was so interesting. And then talk about the celebrations as we close down this month. Listen to this: New York City World Pride Festival and Pride March, which is the birthplace of Pride. Of course, it happens in New York because everything happens in New York, and is now the home of the largest Pride event in the world. In 2019, you guys, 4 million people came to the Pride Parade. I mean, it was just so big. The second largest is in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The third largest is in Madrid, Spain. The fourth largest is in San Francisco. So it's a really amazing celebration. I remember being in Italy in 2019. Yeah, 2019. I mean, it was a humongous parade. There was like super exciting, so much exciting. And there was a fun fact that talked about Bill Clinton and Barack Obama as presidents are the only two presidents that have openly embraced the gay pride month the way that they have. So very exciting. I asked them both if they would tell a little bit about their history. So Keith, would you start and tell a little bit about your history? I'm loving the people in the chat like, we love the Keith Harley collection. We love the Keith Harley collection. I told him I knew all his purchasers are here. All his purchasers. So for those of you who are listening to the radio, on the radio 910 AM, the Superstation, Keith has a collection of clothes that we all just love the way he goes live and sells online and everything. So Keith, tell them a little bit about your history as it relates to Gay Pride Month.
Well, first of all, you mentioned something very interesting. I don't know about Nazé, but this was the first year I've seen as much Pride paraphernalia everywhere. In the stores, in the communities, Target, Walmart, everywhere I went, I had never seen this much Pride stuff. And maybe Nazé can probably tap into that, of where that came from, because I was a little taken back because I've never seen anything like that. But my history goes as far as when I was a child, when I was a young kid. And unfortunately, I'm not clear about where it came from for me, because I suffered from abuse as a 3-year-old till I was 16 by a family member. And so, when the conversation comes up about whether it is something that you're born with, or is it something that was taught to you? Does that make sense? I'm unclear on that because I can't speak on that based on my experiences. If you do your studies, most of how our brain is conditioned and our thought process that we think about ourselves starts when we're 3. If you think about how far you can think back about the history and your experiences you've had, you can't go further than 3 years old, right? But you can think about the experiences you've had from 3 on, and how you've been, what you've been taught, how you've been treated, how you've been abused, what you've been exposed to, those sorts of things. So I have to be honest with you all. I'm not sure if that's where it came from. I don't know where it came from, but I can only tell you about my experiences. Now, fast forward, it took me a long time to accept it. I'll be honest with you. And it's because my background was a very religious, strict I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. So my grandmother was extremely spiritual.
From the Bible Belt.
And in the Bible
Belt, right?
A Bible with a belt.
Come on in, the Bible Belt.
Let's just be clear. And then my mother came from that generation where she didn't understand it. So I'll tell you all a story, and I've never told the story. It's actually in my book. When my mother had an idea that something was different about me back then, she took me to a doctor. I never even told Gloria this. She took me to a doctor, and she asked the doctor to find out what was wrong with me, and could they give me a shot to fix it.
Mm.
Wow.
And
Right. Right.
His name was Dr. Bonham. I'll never forget his name. And I remember sitting in the office next to her saying, did she just ask the doctor, could he give me a shot to change whatever is going on with me mentally and physically? And so my doctor looked at her and said, Betty, my mom's name was Betty, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. So again, this is when I was 12 or 13. So can you imagine what that did to my psyche? Can you imagine what it did to my self-esteem? Not only am I being abused, but I'm also dealing with the issue that my mother would not accept it. My family would not accept it. And I'm being abused by a family member at the same time. So, and that's why it was not hard for me to come on the show to talk about it, because I'm saying some things that people are not willing to say.
Right.
I'm saying some things that people are not willing to expose, And so hopefully I can help one parent or I can help one child and say, let's look at this differently. And what you say to your children and how you treat your children in the midst of you trying to understand what it is can have a terrible, terrible effect on them for the rest of their lives, especially if they're not exposed beyond their present situations or their environment.
Hey, Keith, can I jump in, Gloria, real quickly? Keith, and just say thank you so much for being so open and so transparent and sharing that story, because of course I'm sure I didn't know it, Gloria didn't know it, so wow. But let me ask you this question. Did your parents know that the abuse was going on? Did you try to tell them that it was going on, and did they ever find out? And what happened to the relative that did the abuse?
Okay, so I brought it to, my dad and my mother divorced when I was 4. And so my mom was a single parent, so she was working all the time. As a matter of fact, she was working 2 jobs. So she wasn't home as much. And a lot of the family member that was taking advantage of me at that time, that's where he used that time to do that. When I did bring it to my mother's attention in the midst of a heated moment of her trying to beat it out of me, basically, I told her. And now, if you all are from the South, when you hear something like that, that is not something that you discuss. Your parents always told you what goes on in the house stays in the house. And if I find out that it goes out of the house, then you have to deal with me. So we were trained and brought up to suppress that. So if you heard it, it was a secret. That's just like if somebody got pregnant that was underage in the South. They either got an abortion or they didn't talk about it, or they either gave the child to a grown-up to take care of, but it was never discussed. Same thing when it came to homosexuality, being gay, or whatever you want to call it, or being different. It was something that was not discussed. If you were being abused, it was something that was not discussed. That was the way we were brought up, and that's the way that they see was the best way to do it, was not to talk about it and suppress it.
Well, I'm gonna jump in, Keith, and go back to your original statement about the pride being so commercialized now. And like you, I can remember over the years looking at when it comes around. I think there's a big thing though that Miss Gloria, I want to bring to light, and that is, while we do have Pride as a month of June that is celebrated cross-culturally, we also have within the African American community what we call Black Pride, which is celebrated every month from April through I think it's September. I hope nobody beat me up for that, but that's Black Pride Month, and for me, that's more important than the month of June. And when it comes, it's always been more important than the month of June, because I want to celebrate people who look like me, whose stories are like me. The Lorraine Hansberrys, the James Baldwins, the Baynard Rustins of the world. Those are people who are often forgotten about in the shadows, who really paved a pivotal point when it comes to Pride. So the commercial part of Pride, I think now we spend so much time talking about the cancel culture. If you don't support something, you will be canceled.
Right.
And that's so right. All of the major brands and affiliates and networks are now trying to jump on board. Same thing with Black Lives Matter. You know, they're jumping on board to show that the best way to show that we support you is to commercialize you. And then we go out and we buy into that. We have everyone from Coach through Walmart, like he said, through Target, like everyone now wants to sell Pride stuff to let us know that we're a part of your support. But that doesn't change day-to-day attitudes. And so when you think about Pride should be larger to where you're thinking about day-to-day attitudes and not just the colloquial, you know, parties and celebrations that happen over the 30-day period. So I think that's a lot of times where people go wrong. I also think that that's where, you know, we get these mainstream commercials from, is because people don't want to be canceled. They don't want the protest. They don't want the backlash. So we now are becoming a participant. And we saw a lot of that through 2020, especially during the pandemic. We had nothing to do but watch television. You know, you saw everyone now supporting Black Lives Matter. Now everybody supports, you know, queer, gender, transgender, LGBT. You support everything now. And it wasn't even until this year that we got black and brown stripes on the flag. So that flag doesn't really represent me. I don't even have one in the house. But this year, you know, the black and brown stripe might help a little bit. I don't you know, but that's just me.
Ms. Zay and Keith, I got a
you know, I'm always going to shake the table a little bit. I'm just going to shake it. Call that Ms. Zay's corner. Just shake the table a little bit and back away.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
I got a question, guys. Oh, go ahead, Caterina.
I mean, I was just going to ask about the unique differences. Keith, you did a great job of bringing to light what has taken place in most every African-American family that we are very familiar with. And I wanted to bring it up to 2021 with all that Black men already have to deal with. What are some of the other unique differences being African-American as opposed to being Caucasian? It seems, you know, honestly, here in the San Francisco Bay Area, there are areas in the Bay Area that for two white men that are living together, married, what have you, they command an amazing income and have a great lifestyle and can live and have access to a lot of things that, you know, even some other couples don't have access to. So what are the unique differences, if you could just talk about that for African Americans?
Ooh, you want to go first, Nazay?
There you go.
This is juicy. This is juicy.
You're right though. I don't know, Keith. You want to go ahead, or you want me?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you, because I'll go ahead. First of all, when you deal with white men, gay men, and women in this society in the 20s, they have a level of entitlement. They have a level of they're brought up differently to love themselves and to accept what they are, and they're not ashamed to tell other people what they are and what they do, and they're out with it. And you know what's so very interesting, when you see our white counterparts, or you see white men and women that are homosexual or gay or whatever they title themselves, it's more accepting, and they don't look at it as when they see African American. This is my experience. Now, Nazay may have another experience, but for me, it's 3 times as hard to be an African American Black gay man as it is to be a white man and gay. Let me just be clear. And again, it goes back to what I said about our upbringing and where we come from. We're told to suppress that and not talk about it and it not be acceptable. You know, our parents would. There was I want you all to research this. One of you all can Google this right now. There was a little boy. He was 8 years old. It came out. I know Nazay probably saw this. It was all over the media. His parents found out that he was gay or he had gay tendencies. So his father, black father, went on national social media everywhere, all the platforms, and went live. He took his son and he cut his hair to the point where he was bald in the front and he cut his hair like an old man, like he was bald on the top and had hair on the side. Then he put on the side of his head, "I am gay." Did you all see that?
No.
It was Google it. It was all Nazay, didn't you see it? It was all over social media.
Yeah, I saw it. Yes.
And it was horrible. And this was a week ago, wasn't it, Nazay? About a week and a half ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It was like in the last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Right. And this is the type of mentality that I talk about our communities and where we come from. Now, I'm not saying everybody is like that. But can you imagine, first of all, they can't delete it from social media, so it's going to be out there for the rest of its life.
Right.
And what is this going to happen to this little boy for the rest of his life? And are people willing to go and educate the parents about what they did to him as an African-American boy, as a man? Because he's 8 years old and he thinks that he is either transsexual or gay. And his father did that to him on social media.
At 8.
I think
at 8 years old.
Parents on both sides, I should say communities on both sides, I think have a struggle. But to your point, I remember I've heard it in Paris is Burning. I heard it from my own family. You got 3 strikes against you. You're black, you're a male, and you're gay. You got 3 strikes coming out the door. It's very different in the white community because you're white, you're a male, and you happen to be gay, if you see what I'm saying. So it's very different how we address black men or black women or transgenders versus how we address the white community. And the white community, I won't even say that they offer more support sometimes, as they are more resourceful in how they approach and address things. When you come into African American life, you come in already, with a cross on your back, or a burden that you have to wear, So as a young black male, you already have to deal with the struggles of being black and adjusting to white culture and injustice. When you get past that part, if you add sexuality onto it, then that's just another cross to bear. I think a lot of times where people go wrong or parents go wrong is that it's not really the stigmatism that they want to put on their child, but there's this kind of reverse psychology of condemning will correct. And the correction isn't really going to happen for a child. So if everybody came into it more educated and more open, in a perfect world, then children would handle things differently, i.e. the Dwayne Wade situation with, his daughter. If you approach it through a different lens, you'll get a different result. But culturally, our community has put a stigma on how we label our children and what the expectations of our children are. I have a real thing I like to tickle people about all the time. My partner is very different than me, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but he's a little different than me in how open he may be. And as a parent who's been a single parent for quite some time, I walk into parenting situations all the time. And the audience, whether it be female, usually heterosexual or straight, or male, they really have to kind of gauge me because they're not quite sure. So oftentimes, dads at the football game or the basketball game, they'll begin a conversation until they realize I have a partner. And then the attitude kind of changes. And so I always say people will really judge you or have a stigma about you. And I can watch people from across the basketball, court, and I can see their faces kind of change. And in their mind, they're going, well, like, darn, I was just talking to him and kicking it. Now, I don't know if I should feel differently or if I should not feel differently because he was a cool person. And so I always encourage people to understand it is about how you present yourself, but it's also about an openness to learning something different. And we have relied on the church and we have allowed stigmatisms to hold us down for way too long, you know. And so even within my own family, I've been kind of a matriarch and an advocate for you. If you don't like me, that's fine, but you're gonna respect me. And so that is where I think most of my peers are at. You don't always have to like me, but you will definitely respect me. And that's where we're at now in terms of pride, especially for like our transgender community. They're not all looking to be loved and embraced by everyone. They just want to be equally respected.
Excellent. Sabrina, you want to say something? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where we are. Education, and we thank you guys so much for being on, because it's a level of respect. It's being sensitive, being more friendly to the community, and having a deep understanding, wanting to understand. You know, it's all very new in terms of the pronouns that we should use. That's an education all in itself. Why are the pronouns important? I mean, it can be dizzying. It really can be. Keith is laughing because I want to get it right. I never want to be disrespectful. And so what do you guys think? I mean, I was reading and said, what's a pronoun? Why does it matter? And this really, I want to get this right, because it said a recent study showed that in transgender youth, using correct pronouns and names reduces depression and suicide risk.
Wow.
Yeah, this thing is so real and so big. And so whether common terms, sex is the label, gender, identity, cisgender, transgender, non-binary, genderqueer, gender fluid. My goodness, Keith, don't laugh
It's
at
too
me.
much to keep up with, Sabrina. I'm gonna tell you. I listen and let the community jump in my DM and go off. It's too much. I'm telling you, it's too much. I don't know all the pronouns.
We don't even understand. I don't know about this thing. You don't know.
Here's a simple answer. Just call me by my name, or whatever I ask you to call me by my name. Period. I don't have time to figure out why you got on heels and jeans or a beard and lipstick. Like, I don't really have time, baby. Just call me by my name, and I'm gonna call you by your name, and we don't have to worry about pronouns and all of those things. And if the person doesn't have any direct relation or interaction with you, don't be bothered. You ain't have to try to figure it out. Just don't be bothered. That's
just let them be them. It's their business.
Yeah, just let them be them. You know, I'm from the South, so I'm a hey little baby all the time. Hey, sweetie. I don't have time to figure out the pronouns. It's gonna be hey little baby, and then I'm gonna say what I need to say, and we're gonna call it a day, because I don't have time to figure it out.
We would love to have the callers in. We would love to have the callers. We want to inspire you guys to call in. If you have a comment or something to say that we got issues at 313-778-7600 at 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. I want to hear from you guys too about how do you think people who are listening can specifically make a difference themselves? How can we make a difference? Because there's something, Sabrina's bringing up something that's, you know, you want to say the right thing, you want to do the right thing, and we are our brothers and sisters keepers. So how can we, the listeners that take this month and make a difference, but from your vantage point, what can they do differently? What do you see them maybe that are doing wrong that they don't even know they're doing wrong? Do you guys have an opinion on that? Yes.
Can I put my hand up? Listen.
Yes.
I shared a story with Miss Gloria earlier today. Listen, I have to get this out though. I shared a story with her earlier that I come from a family that's really popular in terms of doing hair and aesthetics and those type of things, barbers. And so at one point I was a makeup artist and did some esthetician work, right? And one of the biggest things, and I'm gonna tell you this is an early lesson because it relates to how Black people are often identified by other folks. People would come and say, oh girl, you know, who did your makeup or who did your brows? And they'd be like, oh, my gay friend so-and-so. And so I would say, why do you always have to put the gay in front? So I literally stopped working in the business because I didn't want to be identified. I didn't want the label to be, you know, it's always, oh girl, my gay friend at the mall. Why is it always the label? It's kind of like when white people say, oh, I have a Black friend. Like, you don't want the label, you just want to be the friend. Mm-hmm. So the easiest lesson that I could give from this 50-minute conversation for people to take away is if you can train yourself to not think or approach it that way, then we will make miles of leverage moving forward and progression moving forward. If you could just train yourself to not do that one little thing like, oh yeah, I got a friend that's a lesbian too. Don't do it. Don't say it, you know? So if you can teach yourself that, that's one thing that will make the progress go so far. It's just to not put that label
in addition to that, stop thinking you can change me. Stop thinking that you can make me your husband. Stop thinking that, you know, because if he's been, I'm sure Nazay can understand this. You've been in abuse. I've had more women come to me and say, oh, I'm going to change you. You going to want me. Oh, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care about what it's been. They just know that there's a level of attraction. And see, here's the problem that a lot of people make mistakes in relationships. Rather than get themselves together, they'd rather change you to be right for you, for them. They don't care about who you are and what you are and have that level of respect. Stop trying to change people. If a person comes to you and say that they want change and they're not happy with themselves, then that's something different. But besides being a title, you know, stop trying to change somebody to be right for you.
Wow. You guys, we have a caller. That's so interesting. Y'all are firing up. And I'm so excited. I mean, for real, the conversation. Marathon is a regular on We Got Issues. So we're excited to have him call in. Marathon, tell us what you're thinking.
Hey, I'm like this. Live and let live. But I did have a comment I wanted to make about what the Supreme Court has said about the bathroom thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Listen to me. I got a rhyme. If you got a wee-wee, you got the TT where the men be.
Miss Gloria, don't laugh. Don't buy into it. Don't buy into it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't buy into it.
Don't buy into it.
Don't do it.
Y'all know that's funny. Y'all know that's funny.
Don't do it.
Oh my God.
See, that's the part that's what is it, marathon? Marathon, that's a part of the setback, bro. We can't be that way. You know, if
what I identify as is great. Oh, wait, I'm muted?
No, go ahead. You good. Go ahead.
Okay. If the way you see me and the way I identify is how I want you to receive me. That's it. It should not be of your concern what's going on between my bed. It's almost like who I'm laying down with today. It's not going to make a decision on whether you wake up in the morning or not. So if you got an issue, you can wait to go in the bathroom, or now, like in the airport, they got the family bathroom. Go in the family bathroom and do what you got to do. If it bothers you just that much. But I think us laughing and participating in that moment that's the thing that sets us back, you know, because there are plenty of women, as I should say, who are trying to live their lives, and maybe they haven't gotten to the point where they can afford to have surgery, to have the surgery and transition completely. So, you know, we can't hold that against some people. You know, we can't hold that against some people.
The education. We start laughing and you saying, no, that's not what to do. That's what I love about this, is that we're going to continue to educate each other. And we have absolutely loved having Keith and Nazar on this call. And you guys open it up. Here we are. We got issues. Here we are having real life conversations. We didn't even get to the BET. We didn't even get there, but we will have them back on. We'll have both of them back on for different subjects at different times. You guys, Monday through Friday at 9:10 a.m. You got us at 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF. We got issues. We're so glad to be with you today. We'll see you there tomorrow, 6 p.m. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Woo!
Great show. Thanks for the education.
Yes, that was amazing. Y'all, seriously, y'all were lively. You were thick, you were entertaining, you were deep, you were transparent, you told your truth. We so appreciate it. Facebook, we love y'all. We're so glad you guys were hanging with us, staying with us, giving us your heart. We're so excited. Yes, thank you guys so much for being here. I promise we appreciate your time, your energy, and your truth. Talk to you later. Bye, you guys. Bye, Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.